Well, I cannot believe it. A solo show? What? Where's Carrie? Carrie's in Australia with her oldest. And so they're visiting Australia. I have a solo show today. It's just us kids. So we're going to have the opportunity to work together, play together, hopefully have some fun. And it's just a show just for us. That means you get the opportunity to join, you get to be part of the situation. Welcome to a solo backpack show.
Hi everyone, Tim Kitzrow from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, welcoming you to The Backpack Show. Your hosts, Chris Brogan, Kerry Gargone, Boom Shakalaka.
Backpack Show. I'm going to do ads right out of the way. Want a podcast? Get a podcast. Castos.com. They're a good podcast host. Want a .online domain? Get a .online. Go to cbrogan.net/online. Or you can go to get.online directly and use code Chris, all caps, and you can have a show. Go to cbrogan.net/StreamYard and you can have yourself your own StreamYard. There you go. And presearch.com, stick it to the man. It's just me today, folks. Hello, my beautiful mother, my dad's wife, a recent wedding anniversary underneath the hood there. Hello, my father, my biological father, and Wordle friend from across the way. Hola, Coach Woodard. Happy to see you. Hello, Leslie. Very happy Friday to yourself as well. Hey, Chloe. I didn't bring a matcha, so we can't actually matcha the matches, but, Fred Faulkner the fourth. It is not Fur Day. I do not represent that calendar, but I'll accept Friday. Good to see you. How are you? Welcome to the Backpack Show solo. That means a couple things. It means that you are invited to come and be part of the show. It means that I'll probably forget so many times to have that banner up that Carrie likes to put when there's just one or two of us. You can join me at cbrogan.net/join us. cbrogan.me is no longer. It was a gift to me from another company, and they forgot to maintain it. So I finally just broke down and got my own. So cbrogan.net/join us. That'll put you right into my studio. So if you are feeling even vaguely video ready, I want to come and talk to you. I want to check in. I want to understand what's going on in your business. And I want to talk to you today about things in business. And I want to answer your questions. So it is a question-full day. Bonjour, Carol. Good to see you. Comment ça va? Very glad to have you here. And welcome to a solo run of the Backpack Show. I haven't done one of these in so long. I think I made Carrie do the last few solo ones, but yep, the last is in Scotland, Australia. Very similar in Australia. I think Brisbane, but don't hold me to that because I'm a dude and I don't remember things at all. But she and one of her kids is there. They're hanging out in Australia for I think a couple weeks. So I might even do another one of these next Friday as well. But they only live or die based on you. You've got to ask questions. You've got to come onto the set. You've got to decide you want to be my guest in the other chair. So cbrogan.net/join us puts you right in the studio, right backstage, or you can ask me questions directly and I will answer those questions. In the absence of questions, I will just say words and, it'll be kind of slow and clunky and awkward, and I'll feel sad, just like that time in 7th grade when I threw a birthday party and really only one kid showed. And that was really sad, and I remembered it for my whole life. So if you don't want me to feel like I felt in 7th grade, then you go to cbrogan.net/join us, and you can jump into the seat, or you can even just type a question in the comment section. You can do that naked. You don't even have to put clothes on to type a question in the comment section. It's a little awkward that you showed up to work today naked, but I don't want to judge. What can I say? I was just reading a bunch of news stories. I was reading about how Zendesk, the technology company that does help desk stuff for a lot of other companies, has been in a bunch of trouble for a bunch of months. And they're finally coming out of that by a whole bunch of private companies agreeing to take them private together. So that'll be interesting. It'll show that there'll be some fast, rapid changes, because that's usually what happens when a company goes from public to private, is they get the chance to make a lot of changes that they otherwise were having to push their shareholders to approve. And so with this change, that'll be going on. Hey, Bipasha, good to see you. How are you? Yes, it is Friday out there. Other news that I saw out and about is I saw that, in the United States, our handle on very basic human rights and laws is going down even further. Dean Shaw has a question that I would be thrilled to answer. He asks, are NFTs dead? Non-fungible tokens. Non-fungible tokens are most people what you see when you see an NFT is you see some weird art. There's a lot of different animal art with lots of variations of colors and hats and things like that. And you think that's the be all and end all of the concept of a non-fungible token. The answer is related to that answer, which is no, NFTs are not dead because NFTs can do a lot more things than just say a crypto coin can do. A crypto coin, can push a certain amount of value back and forth between places. An NFT can push all kinds of data, all kinds of legal information, and all kinds of businessy goodness and value back and forth on a platform. So NFTs aren't dead. I would say that every day there's something else going on to take a swipe at that space. I've never been a giant NFT fan. I've been a giant crypto fan. I am no longer a giant crypto fan. I can tell you that it's the big challenge with cryptocurrency is that the value proposition is just really hard to make. The concepts all make sense, but it really requires a lot of people to do them. There's a network effect concept. Basically, if you buy a toy, let's say a walkie-talkie, the walkie-talkie only works if you've got a friend to use it. Well, then the walkie-talkie is only interesting if you've got 4 friends using them, and that's the same sort of problem with things like crypto, is that so few people are adopting it in depth and in the way that it could be used, that it's just not as interesting a technology. So there's been a lot of challenge to that. So I would say that while cryptocurrency is floundering and sinking and sinking and floundering, NFTs are of course being asked the same question. They're very different creatures. I think there's some incredibly cool stuff with an NFT. You could buy a mortgage through an NFT without any lawyers having to show up. You can do all kinds of massive legal interactions with just interacting with the NFT directly. You could buy like lifelong access to someone's intellectual property with an NFT. And I think certain use cases like that are going to go on for a long time. It's a great question, Dean. Thank you so much for that. Hello, Elizabeth. Buenos días. ¿Cómo está usted? Again, this show works so much better if you come on and be part of it, either asking a question or being camera ready and going to cbrogan.net/join us. This is a great day for people who have thought about it in the past, who haven't, or who chickened out, or who are still on my list of chicken shits. So cbrogan.net/join us. You can come sign right up and come be part of the seats. Come say hi. All right. Dean says, you've got $1,000. Would you invest in an NFT, a crypto, or a mutual fund? Horizon is 10 years. Well, if you use mutual fund in that sort of stretchy way of saying things like are they called EFTs? There are those newer kind of mutual funds that I would consider for that sort of a deal. I would say that one thing you can consider doing with your money is putting it in the stock market. But a lot of people, yeah, absolutely, Elizabeth. With the stock market, what a lot of people have done is they've taken a lot of their money out right now because they're getting pummeled. The tech space, for instance, is just going down and down and down and down. And in stocks and or also in crypto, I mean, one of the strategies people always give you is if it's going down, buy more. If you're pretty sure it's going to come flying back up. But oh my gosh, I feel like it's gone down so many times that you really got to start wondering how much further to the bottom. Related to this, Fred Faulkner the fourth asked me the question. So, what's your plan with Rally.io coin then? It's been on life support for a few months in my mind. I haven't done anything especially interesting with it. I'm holding some of it because I think it might be very interesting. Still, I mean, there is a possibility that one day one magical thing happens and it just flies up and everyone goes, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And suddenly it's worth something again, but it's not even worth $1 right now. So it's kind of hard to be super excited about it, Fred. Chloe, how's the book going that you're writing? It's going well. I am still a little slower than I need to be on writing my book, but this is the book I'm writing about AppFire, and it's very enjoyable in a lot of ways. there's just some parts. I mean, writing any book about a corporation can be really a slog. And I'm going through some of the sloggy parts that I kind of can't avoid writing eventually. So I'm just there. Carol, what is your favorite nonfiction book of the year so far? Oh, I have an answer for that. Hang on one second. Let me go to my. I think I did it in audio. I did. Make No Small Plans. That's Elliot Bisnow and a bunch of other people. They started something called the Summit Group, which has been renamed Summit. Make No Small Plans. It is a fascinating book on how to kind of plan bigger and better and really grow. So it's a deal. Loving it. Fred says so. Hodl. A little bit, Fred. I've done a very adapted hodl. I mean, I sold a bunch of the backpack coin of my own stash of the backpack coin after a while, just to see what would happen then. Like, would it crush the coin even more? Answer: yes. And so, uh, but I took some of it out when I was taking out some of my other crypto coins because I took my oldest kid to Vegas on a trip to visit his grandparents and also to try to eat most of the famous chefs and not so famous but weird hotspot food places in all of Las Vegas. So that was fun. Good questions, though. With regards to other nonfiction books, I've read a bunch lately. Masters of Scale with Reid Hoffman, LinkedIn's founder. Brand new David Sedaris book is out, Happy Go Lucky. So if you love David Sedaris and you love his essays, that's a very good book, Happy Go Lucky. I read Bob Odenkirk's book, Comedy, Drama, which basically covers Bob Odenkirk's career. How to Tell a Story by the Moth. I liked that. Not a ton, but I liked it. Make No Small Plans, Elliot Bisnow. I know this other fellow named Cody Wooten who liked that one. And a bunch of other books recently. Am I Being Too Subtle About Real Estate by the legendary grave dancer himself, Sam Zell. A lot of good stuff. What has been the biggest lesson that you have learned since becoming a chief of staff? I've learned a lot, which is why the book after the AppFire book will be a chief of staff book. One of the things I learned a lot, I'll tell you, is the whole co-create concept, which I did. I did one of my 3 words for 2022 is co-create, which is the idea that if I'm going into interaction with somebody else, what kind of interaction do I want to have with those people? And so in the concept of co-create, I have learned that when I go to have a meeting with someone, do I need them to feel kind of chastened by something I'm saying, or do I need them to feel like I'm on their side and I want them to grow? Obviously, more often than not, it's B. So I've learned how to kind of give better feedback. I've learned in the process of what I'm doing when to kind of follow back on people, and that the basic act of following up is something that doesn't happen in business very often. And so that just simply following up, coming back around and saying, hey, I'm just checking in on you. I haven't heard in a little bit. What's going on? Is more than what a lot of people give and get in business. And so I've done a lot about that. So that's been pretty important. I will wash my hands. What is my favorite Batman movie? I am a big fan of the Robert Pattinson Batman, the newest Batman that came out. I love it a lot. I love it because they went really hard into the area of trying to make it as realistic as possible. Guy wearing a weird suit is not super realistic, but there's a lot of it. Like, when he jumps off the building, you're scared to death. And, clearly Batman's scared. He makes it sound like, ugh, like he doesn't want to do it. So that's the deal. This is an important question, Chloe. With the rise of no-code tools, do you think it's more or less valuable to have that skill? I think with low-code and no-code, your abilities have to shift into learning how to be a better product manager and not so much a coder. Look at how things like WordPress have changed. WordPress has changed with the Gutenberg example, for instance. WordPress has changed so that you can just grab a few modules, put a few modules in a few places, type a couple things in, throw a picture or two, and it's almost as easy as baseline stuff like Squarespace. Talking to the Squarespace boss, by the way. So, we both know that it could be harder than that. But in general, code and no code and low code, I would say that because of that kind of knowledge, you need to take your skill set up a rank and go into product development, product management, because you're going to want to then say, okay, well, maybe the code isn't the tricky part. Maybe it's the business function that's the tricky part, the business value that's the tricky part. No one cares, can you make the picture line up in the right place? I mean, people do, but ultimately, that's not nearly as cool as if you said to somebody, I've got a way that I'm going to guarantee you you're going to get 2,500 new people on this page every single day, and out of those, 250 a day are going to sign up. If you did that, I mean, everybody in the world would just come chasing you down for it. So as you start and look to make things, the how you coded it is the least interesting part of the story. It is what you made and what value delivered. Leslie, Elizabeth, you always look good for the pics I see. And yes, bring Ellie on. I love Ellie. If you chose your 3 words before you started at AppFire, are your 3 words still valid? Well, I was working with AppFire when I chose my 3 words, so they were, related. But yeah, I mean, they were valid because the whole ideas that I followed were all things that I could do as a solo person as well as a group person. It's always my 3 words are guiding my choices, not my specific role, if that makes any sense. So Scout, for instance, is still valid. Co-create is still valid. All of it's valid because the whole concept is that I'm heading towards something, and it's not role specific. Um, Coach, what's the biggest lesson between being a chief of staff and being an independent consultant besides a regular paycheck? Understand that a regular paycheck can do a world of good, uh, especially if you've gone quite a while, really paycheck to paycheck. When people say that to me, sometimes what they really mean is, it hasn't just been super easy, but it's not, but I have a savings account that I can dribble. When you're down to your absolute financial wire, a paycheck is a great thing. But besides that, because, that's a joke, the difference between being an independent consultant and being an employee, I mean, as you'd imagine, an employee has to serve the team, has to serve the outlook of the organization. It has to coordinate the sheet music a lot more so that we're all dancing in the same direction. One of the things that goes on in this kind of space is that my job is oftentimes to get everybody playing the same song on the same cadence. I'm not always the conductor, but if the conductor in an orchestra had a little person who roamed around and banged elbows on people who were going too slow or too fast, that would be me. Chloe says that's a really helpful insight, and oh, my pleasure. But I mean, it is, start on this now. Start on the outcomes and the things you're going to deliver, and the benefits and outputs you could bring to a customer, because that's going to change who your customers are. Your customers aren't going to be live, laugh, love people, with kitchens full of peaches anymore. Your customers are going to be like regional banks, that have maybe 10 banks in them and stuff like that, and they're going to want to know, can you do this where you, even something as simple and annoying as, can you merge profile data so that it ties to their account data but doesn't give them the banking data, that sort of a thing. Can you use the password in both places, those sorts of things. So you're going to start looking for some really functional stuff for these sites to do, more than the aesthetics as time goes on. You're not going to be able to finish your life career doing what you've been doing, how you've been doing it. Would I rather have Dorito hands or Funyuns feet? I think you can hide the feet away a lot longer, and that might be a good thing. But I think you can justify the Dorito hands a little bit better. Dean, by the way, that's who you're jealous of, someone who, has Funyun feet. That was a tough question, though. I like that. That was right up there. I already did my ads, so I'm covered for that. All right, I'm gonna try again. I've had 0 people. Oh, what did I do? What button is that? I've had 0 people come and say that they're willing to be on the show so far. See Brogan.net/join us. I usually get at least like one Chloe, but no one's wanted to come on my show. It's me, isn't it? It's me. But anyway, come and join me. All right. With regards to other things that I've been reading about, another piece of information that I've been paying attention to a lot is that we are less and less and less connected to our. We're not as worried anymore that someone's going to steal our data, but not because we think our data is any more safe. We're just pretty sure that everyone has it already, so we're not as worried about our privacy, and it's really leading people into um, giving up their privacy at every turn. I just read that TikTok, what was the word? The Chinese government samples your data if you're a TikTok user 30 something times a month, which I guess sounds like one a day, but could be more, could be less. But evidently, the people in China are sifting over your data all the time. So that is worth paying attention to. All right. Well, I'm going to have a new guest joining us any moment now. I would like to bring on stage Elizabeth Quintanilla. Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you swell. That's some hair. What you got going on over there?
I just took down my ponytail. So this is what my bedhead looks like.
I see. I thought we were going to a metal concert or something. It was very rock and roll.
No, it
You're
was
out in
already
a
it was
field.
pulled up. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
in a park. So
Oh,
I'm not gonna show Ellie right now because she's using the toilet.
I
So
see.
but
You and I would be both very happy about that. David, stick around, by the way. So or do you feel willing to out this new client of yours that you got, or should we save that until they're an actual guest?
save it till
Okay.
an actual guest because
Okay.
but the good thing is like you should reach out to that new client and our mutual friend since she was coming out with an awesome book and a 40-year career that's everybody's worth learning from.
Well, no one's going to know a thing about it because you told me not to talk about her. So there you go. Leslie says hello.
Hi, Leslie.
Uh, and so big reason I never signed up. Yeah, same, Frederick. I chose not to go on TikTok because I was immediately thinking the Chinese government's going to eat my data, and that's actually why I canceled all my Facebook products too, because Russia, not China, requested and demanded that the Meta Labs put a big fat data pipe in Russia for no reason. They said just you need to put a big huge data throughput here in Russia. So I'm pretty sure all our data gets really beaten up there as well. And now I'm seeing conversation about Takis chips. Elizabeth, what kind of clients have you been working with lately?
Okay, first off, I love Takis chips. I grew up with them. They came from Monterrey or Mexico, and we loved them every time we got it. So you know, but yeah, no,
Nice.
I have a variety of clients. So doing coaching, the one-on-one coaching. So with that client, as well as I have a battery startup, and I don't mind outing the battery startup. It's zinc5.com and I'm doing some content marketing with them. Of course, I play in the real estate space and got a commission check, so woohoo on that one, and a couple of other clients as well. But having a lot of fun along the
That's
way
great.
because yeah, because it's funny you were saying product management. I was talking with my friend who is a serial tech startups, and we realized that my skill set is really more product marketing and in the sales enablement space. So everything that I do seems to go around that part more than the product management.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm going to drag another person in here and see what's going on in his life as well. David Jacobs, what have you been up to, buddy?
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've talked, Chris.
Has been. We've used to roam the same conferences like every few years or few months. I don't know.
I know it's been way too long, man. I'm here. I'm actually in the bathroom. So sorry, my son is still sleeping. So I'm in the bathroom at the Sonesta Hotel in Anaheim. I'm at VidCon for the first time, believe it or not.
Ah, VidCom.
It's
See, this is.
incredible, man. I've always wanted to come, but I've never got to go. And then 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, my daughter says, "I need to go to VidCon. Let's go to VidCon, please, please." So I said, "Okay." And then the pandemic hit, and boom. So finally, 2 years later, and unfortunately, we also went to a wedding of my niece who was postponed. And so we went all the way, your territory. We were in Boston um,
Oh,
for this wedding. And we went to DC as well, and then we got back, and then it was like one day we got to come here, and she was like, "I'm tired. I don't want to travel anymore. I don't want to go." So I took my son instead. I said, "I'm going.
Nice.
It's paid for. I'm going." So my son is with me. He came along. Um,
VidCom. So what's the big hope there? What are you gonna see that's gonna change
it's
it all for
kind of
you?
nuts. I'm walking around feeling really, really old. You know, I mean, we came from the time not only pre TikTok but pre YouTube. We were around before YouTube even was a thing.
That's right.
I'm feeling real old. I don't know any of these creators. I remember the original, the OG creators, I Justine and those kind of people.
Right.
They're not even here. This is a whole new batch of very young, very cool kids. I don't know. I walk around Googling everything. Like, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? I have literally, I walk around the place Googling because I have no idea who the hell these people are. But it's incredible, man. They're doing really some incredible things. They've got these amazing shows and they are creating brands. I mean, honest to God, brands with an image, with merch, with hordes of fans. There are people out here who are dressing up, as their favorite creator,
Oh wow.
some more extravagant than others, but some very extravagant. It's crazy. I'm like, wow, I feel really old and really out of it. But at the same time, I'm impressed at what these kids are doing. I was walking around the show floor. There's a talent agent here now. They got a
Oh
talent
wow.
agent for YouTube talent. I ran into a lady and they're doing, brand deals. They have a whole marketing agency doing brand deals for talent and large companies. This has become big business. This is a real deal now.
It's a big deal.
It's
No
it's
question about it.
it's and these kids are, God, they're like 18, 20, 23. They're super young, but they're talented.
But they're pointing to the fact that you're there because everyone's saying you've really got to take video seriously. Elizabeth, are you taking video seriously? Is this something you bring up to all your new clients and everything?
Yes, actually, I do. And it's kind of funny because you were mentioning TikTok and video, and I just got approved for the Facebook creator and also the Instagram. So I only have a few videos on TikTok, but it's amazing that you can just do a little bit and people are resonating with that more. So it's kind of going to be funny to see what happens because the old SEO game of word stuffing is so far gone if you're not using video to incorporate.
David, one last question before I let you get out of the bathroom there.
Yeah.
What are there themes at all? Like, are you picking off any kind of a theme on what businesses should be paying attention to once they get over, the absolute thousands of years between them and the people making the videos?
Yeah, I've only been here one day. We just had it yesterday, so I'm not sure yet. I was just sort of walking around in awe. Um, it's I think it's a lot, as it always is, about demographic, and the video is very young. If you want to reach young people, you gotta be on these platforms. You will never reach a person under 40 anywhere but TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, what have you. I've been here with my son in this hotel for a day and a half. We've never once turned on the TV. When we were in Boston for the wedding, nobody in our party turned on the television. Not once. Oh, you went. I can't hear you.
That's because I was being
Oh, there
polite.
you go.
That's because they didn't need those platforms anymore. They could do it all digital, all through their phones and their tablets and whatever. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
and we're
they're
not even watching actual TV anyway. I mean, if you have an older demo, then yeah, you can play in more traditional media. But if you are trying to reach anyone under 40, whew. And the other big thing, I'll tell you one thing that kind of shocked me. Paramount was there with Paramount Plus. They're really pushing. They're
oh
trying so
sure.
hard with Paramount Plus. But boy, I think they've made a decision to go after a very young demo, or they're just promoting those shows at this show because everything I saw was really hardcore for the young. All the shows were for kids.
Interesting.
Everything was skewed that way, hardcore. Maybe they just made a decision that, okay, screw it, we're just going to go after the kids.
Interesting. Well, that's I'm I have so many more questions about that, but I'm going to let you get out of your bathroom. I'm
All
going to
right.
boot you out of this stream. Good to see you. Thanks so much for being part of it, David. And Elizabeth, you had, of course, a little bit of love and affection for the Ellie viewers of the world. But it's
Here's a good.
yeah. Hang on a second. Big Ellie. I would like to be anywhere, but here she's saying, "Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. I'll catch up with you. Thanks for jumping on stream, by the way.
You're
Like some
welcome.
of your friends. Talk to you. All right. Now, Dean says, by the way, that young people like influencers put Revlon out of business. I think that's a fascinating story. I wish our friend Jane was here because Jane works in the fashion and beauty business and would definitely have some insight on that. But she hasn't been around. But I will shake her down. I'll see if I can get some thoughts on that. I'm doing a little bit of that with the Backpack Show in the next coming weeks and months. By the way, I'm reaching out to some people where I have a question or I have something I want to know. And Elizabeth and I were teasing out that she has brought a recommendation for a guest that will be really fun to get if we get her. But I will wait so that I'm not feeling heartache about it. So that'll be good. And then beyond that, I just wanted to say that I'll be asking some people for some catch up too. So I might go back to some of our existing previous guests who have been on the Backpack and see where they are now. I mean, hey, we haven't bothered Sir Mix-a-Lot in a bunch of months. Maybe we ought to see what he's doing. Horacio Garcia Rojas, there was a conversation about a Spanish Batman. We said, well, we know the actor for that. So we think he'd be a great actor for that. Our guy from Diablero, if you don't remember. I've come to the end of my road and you've come to the end of your comments. So I'm kicking your butts out of here. Let me do my last couple of things.
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
Lots of interactions, lots of good things. I'm going to give it to Chloe. And Chloe, you are our person of the day. You know what the deal is. Go buy yourself an apple, clean it all up. That's who I put that in because that's usually Carrie's thing. Still want a tour of our shelves. I have nothing on my shelf. Carrie keeps actual physical books still. I have digital shelves, so I can walk you through a digital shelf any day of the week. Meanwhile, I wanted to tell you that as we head towards the next episode, what's going to happen is we'll try to bring on some really creative and clever people, but maybe I'll have one really special guest. You think I should give a hint about the special guest? All right. So this person. I just noticed there's still a Johnsonville ad in our little